Hello and welcome to Pilates and Yoga with Vicky. We've got a beautiful class today themed around inner radiance. We all just need to, I think, sometimes tap into our deeper, more radiant self that shines brightly within. We're much like a Russian doll, for want of a better analogy, where we've got our outside physical body, and then we've got more subtle bodies as we open up the Russian doll, and there's other bodies inside. And right in the middle of it all, we've got this bright divine presence, this beaming light. But the different layers of the doll get more opaque the further you get from this light. So you get less visibility of this beaming light the more you are focused and attached, say, on the physical body. So you're kind of working in from the physical body, you've got energetic bodies, emotional, mental bodies, your intellect, all the way to this bliss body, this beautiful radiant light that we all have within us. And so we want to really tap into that radiant light, because the more you connect with that, the happier and more effortless life is. The more you're distant and disconnected from that and more focused outwardly, the more suffering you can experience. So let's shine from within. I'm going to just say through the props we need. If you've got blocks, a couple of blocks, that's great. If not, some long life milk cartons that are full can make a good equivalent. A bolster or really plump cushion would be handy. I've got a meditation cushion, or again, just a firm big square cushion would work. Sometimes the outside cushions on the sofas outside are good sort of lengthways for bolster. See what you can find. And a blanket is always handy for some softness as well. And because we're talking about this inner radiant light within, we're going to focus a bit on our heart chakra, anahata chakra, and our crown sahasrara chakra, because that's where we really connect through to the divine consciousness, the universal energy. And our heart is really sort of that true nature we have within us to be kind and loving. So we really want to open up our heart center to find that more joyous place. So with that in mind, we'll start off seating comfortably, however that is for you. Try and elevate the hips up a bit so the pelvis can tilt forward. And just taking our hands one over the other over our heart space. Grow tall as we soften the shoulders. And we're going to orbit the breath. So you're going to breathe into your heart space, send the breath up through the crown, up the front body, and as you exhale, send the breath down back to the heart through the back body. So inhaling upwards, up through the crown, through the front body, exhaling downwards through to the heart center, through the back body. So closing your eyes if you wish, we're just going to have a few rounds here to settle into our practice and already get these chakra energy centers open. Here we go. Feeling the loving warmth radiate out from your heart center. And growing tall through the spine. 2 more breath cycles. And then when you're ready, slowly open the eyes. Take the arms to the thighs, give your shoulders a roll, and just notice if there's been a shift. I'm suddenly speaking a little bit slower. Life feels a little bit less frenetic. We're going to come into doing a bit of a twist, taking the left knee in front and hooking the right leg over the top of the thigh, but sending equal weight through both sit bones. If this isn't comfortable for you, you can try it with the bottom leg long or the foot out to the side. So choosing your option, and we're just going to twist to the left, settling yourself into your seat. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, open twist to the left. Gazing over the left shoulder, 5 breaths here. Pressing the leg into the hand and hand into the leg to create stability. Inhale, rise. Exhale, twist. One more. Slowly back to center. And then switching directions, taking whichever option you did last time. Get your weight equally distributed through the sit bones. Inhale, rise. Exhale, taking the right arm behind, gazing towards the back wall. And again, keeping the stability through the hand, pressing into the leg, and vice versa. 3 more breaths, spiraling our heart round as we exhale. Beautiful, back to center. And then we're going to come onto our knees. So you might want to have a blanket underneath to give a bit of padding to the knees. Onto all fours. And I always find all fours is a good chance to check in and scan the body. So just move sort of intuitively, free up the neck, sort of very gentle cat-cows and wriggles through the spine just to loosen up. Beautiful. Then taking our right leg forward, finding a stretch in this left thigh as we draw the knee towards the heel and engage the abdomen, banders away from the thigh. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, like you're taking a hat off as you beam through your crown. Exhale, frame the foot. Sending it back. Coming forward, shoulders over wrists. Draw up through the banders, the core's engaged. Exhale, lower all the way to the earth. Maybe take the arms forward and a little bit wider as we inhale, press our heart and crown forwards. Exhale, release. Inhale, hands under shoulders. Exhale, back to child's. Maybe stretching out the arms. Maybe softening the elbows to the earth. 3 breaths. Ripple it back up, taking the left leg forward. Find your low lunge. Magnetizing the inner thighs towards each other. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, shine through the heart space. Then beam up through the crown like you're taking that hat off your head. Exhale, hinge forward, frame the foot, sending it back. Come forward and lower chaturanga style as we exhale. Take the hands where it feels good for you. As you inhale, press the heart forward. Exhale down. Inhale, hands into shoulders. Exhale, back into child's. Creep the hands forward. Drop the elbows to the earth if you want, and melt through that heart space. 2 more breaths here. Choosing to do Ujjayi breath during the class can help provide focus, where you do that slight throat constriction as you breathe out, kind of a bit Darth Vader sounding. Rippling it back up, take the toes under as we send ourselves back as we exhale into a downward facing dog. The priority is the length as you lengthen from wrist to hips, gazing between the ankles. So soften the knees as much as you need to have a long flat back. 3 more breaths here. Free up the neck and beam through the crown to the earth. you've got blanket like me, you might want to just move that out the way so you don't trip on it. Walk it forward to the hands, hip distance apart, cradle the arms, and just press outwards through the elbows into the fingertips to broaden the back body. Inhale, beam the crown to the earth. Exhale, hinge at the thighs, or hinge so your belly goes towards the thighs. And sway if that feels nice as we just let go. Drain away any tension. Releasing the arms, we're going to come up Ardha Uttanasana, halfway forward fold, 3 times. Inhale, beam the heart and head forward. Exhale, you can let the breath out through the mouth if you wish. 2 more, inhale. 1 more. Anchor down through the heels. Rise as we reverse swan dive, shining through the back of our heart space. Sweep it all the way up. Hands meet in Anjali Mudra and heart center. Take a moment to settle the energy. Ribs drawn in, stacked over hips, engaging from the upper kneecaps. 2 more breaths. And we're going to take our right leg back into warrior 1. So finding your footing, the back foot just turned inward slightly, sending the knee forward, but the knees above the ankle. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, taking the hat back off. Exhale, hinge it forward in this long dynamic line of energy. You can come onto the ball of the back foot if that feels better, driving the heel back, or stay in warrior 1 feet, your choice. 3 more breaths, beam forward. Framing the foot, taking it back, hold for 3 breaths as we ignite our inner fire. And you can choose to go on the knees like we did before for our Vinyasa flow, or stay on your toes, your choice. Propel forward, exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha, or baby cobra like we did before. Exhale, meeting in downward facing dog, but feel free to go through child's first. 5 breaths. And bend the knees if you need to. Find that length, pressing through base of finger and thumb, not just taking the weight through the wrists. And lengthen through the side body. 2 more breaths. Finding that Ujjayi breath if you find that helpful. Beautiful. Walk it back in again. 3 times again with a halfway forward fold. Lift up through the back body. Inhale. Shoulders back. Beam forward. Exhale. 2 more. Root down through the heels. 1 more. Anchor through the heels. Slowly again shine through the back of the heart space as you rise. Maybe taking a little back bend as we sweep behind. Hands meet in heart center. 3 breaths. Send the left leg back this time. Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. Inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, take that hat off. Exhale, drive it forward, this long dynamic line from the back heel to the tips of the fingers. Again, crescent lunge, foot position is an option on the ball of that foot if more comfortable. 2 more breaths. Framing that front foot, step it back, 3 breaths here. Keeping the bandhas engaged, Mula Bandha through your pelvic floor, Uddiyana Bandha all the way up to the navel. And knees or toes, your choice. Propel forward if you're on your toes. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, Ardha Mukha. 5 breaths. You can come through child's and then we'll meet in downward facing dog. Two more breaths. Walk it forward as we come into a bit of a different flow. This time, fan the toes, feel into the 3 points, big toe, little toe, and heel of each foot. Sweep it up into Uttanasana, chair pose. Tuck the tailbone under slightly if that feels nice on the back. And from here, we're coming to drinking bird pose, pressing the palms back, coming to our toes, the balls of our feet. Shine the heart forward, beam the crown forward as you tuck the chin slightly. 3 breaths here. Slowly coming down and rise up. Hands to heart. This time, taking the left leg back first. Into our warrior one. 5 breaths, sink through. Finding your stance, soften the shoulders. Opening it up into Virabhadrasana 2, sending the knee stacked over the ankle. Check your shoulders stacked over the hips. And you can let this left hip soften and drop in to find better knee alignment. So just have a play with your body of where sits well for you. 2 more breaths. Find your reach. Flip the palm, either taking the hand down the thigh or snaking it behind. As we sink in that soft knee, peel ourselves open and shine through our heart space. 3 more breaths. Coming up, taking our right elbow to thigh, sweep the other arm through in front, find a long line from the edge of the foot to the fingers. Draw up through the waistline and spiral the heart. 5 breaths for side angle. Coming back up, taking a bit of a step in, we're coming into half moon pose. So feel free to use a block underneath, or you can use the mat, whichever you prefer. Hand to top hip. Imagine you're pushing the left foot into a wall, shoulders down, and taking our top hand to our heart to find that connection. Maybe even feeling our heartbeat now as we get moving. Softness through the right knee. 2 more breaths. Taking a big step back. Coming around, framing that foot. Move that out the way, step it back. You can choose to keep this foot lifted if you wish, or keep it down, or go to the kneeling version. You've got 3 options as we vinyasa. Exhale down, inhale both feet on the earth. Press the heart through. Exhale, downward facing dog, 5 breaths. Feel free to pedal out the dog if that feels good. Walking it in. Coming into our Uttanasana chair pose. Sending it up. And then pressing back for our drinking bird pose. Drop the chin slightly, press the palms back and the heart forward. 3 more breaths. Come back down, hand to heart center. This time stepping the right foot back into our warrior one. Sink it forward, 5 breaths. Opening it up into our Virabhadrasana 2, adjusting your feet as you need to Soften the shoulders, send the knee forward, stacked over the ankle. Find your reach, and still beaming through the heart, through the crown. 3 more breaths. Flip the palm, coming back into your peaceful warrior. Hand on thigh is an option, or behind. Shine through that heart space. 3 more breaths. Press into the outside edge of that back foot. And then taking the elbow to thigh, sweep the arm in front, all the way through. Find that length, find the lift through the side body. Spiral the heart up. 5 breaths. Coming all the way up. Taking a bit of a step in as we prepare for the half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana, with the block. I'll show you this time without the block. And take that top hand to the heart space to feel that connection, pressing into an imaginary wall with that right foot. And you can let the top hip soften and drop towards the earth and spiral the heart up. 2 more breaths. Slow step back. Frame that front foot again. 3-legged chaturanga is an option, or both feet down or knees down. Propel forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Open up that front body. Exhale, Urdhva Mukha. 5 breaths. Walking it back in, adding on a new layer to our flow this time. Firm the foundation, rise up, Uttanasana. Exhale, drinking bird pose. Drop the chin. You can play with tucking the tailbone under slightly if that feels better in your back. 2 more breaths. Coming up, hands down through heart center. We're going to find our way into tree pose. So find a drishti, a focal point to look at. And we're taking the left foot. You can do it just the toes on the earth. You can put the foot on the shin or on the thigh, just not pressing into the knee. Think tall. Pressing the foot into the thigh or wherever it's meeting. It could be shin, it could be earth. And pressing if you've got the leg, pressing the leg back into the foot. 3 more breaths. Slowly take it back as we open up into Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Settle in, 5 breaths. Soften the shoulders. Get the palms, reverse the warrior. Peel yourself open, peaceful warrior. Taking the elbow to thigh, sweep it in front, long line of energy. Soften the shoulders, spiral the heart. 5 breaths. Coming back up, back into our Ardha Chandrasana half moon, with or without a block. You can use a wall, whatever works for you. Top hand to heart. Gazing wherever's comfortable. Softness in the supporting leg. 2 more breaths. Slowly taking it back into a 5-pointed star this time. Really radiate out from our inner radiance. Exhale, tucking it in with the elbows. Knees and toes pointing out, kind of goddess pose style. And we're really going to make our own sun here. So inhale, rise up. Exhale, bend the knees, making a big circle like a sun as you round the back. Let everything go. Inhale, circle it back up. 4 more. Exhale. You can breathe out through the mouth. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Let it go. 1 more. Beautiful. Take the hands to heart into a side lunge. So you might want to go wider, bending into the right leg and then the left leg. Just easing up, getting into those hips. And then sending our hands to the earth to go a bit deeper. Maybe walking forward so we encourage length in the body. And then this time, staying back on the left leg. You might just stay here for a longer stretch. That is perfect. If you want to explore sinking lower, you can have the heel down if your ankle's got the mobility, or you can be on the ball of the foot. Up to you. Toes pull towards you, the right leg. Hands to heart. Find length. 5 breaths. Hands are fine to be on the floor, especially if you're on the ball of that foot, because that's a tricky one to balance on. And then using the hands just lightly to come back. Find some blocks. And take this left back foot across to give your hip space to wiggle. And we're coming into pyramid pose. You can have the higher length of the block. That's fine. Lengthen as you beam the heart and crown forward. Exhale, hinge. Keeping this nice straight line. Drawing our right thigh bone back into its socket, tilting the left hip forward. Now, if you need to take a wider stance, go for it. We'll have 5 more breaths here, choosing whatever height of support you need. Taking the blocks out the way, soften the leg, frame the foot. Sending it back for your 3-legged or on your toes or knees, your choice. Exhale forward and chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, Adho Mukha. 5 breaths. Press the earth away like you're trying to get rid of a crease in the mat. Send the hips back and the energy driving down through the heels. Doesn't matter if they meet the earth or not. Beautiful work. Walking it forwards. Anchor down, growing roots through those feet. Drop the bandhas. Inhale, Utkantasana. Exhale, press it forward, come onto the balls. Drop the gaze, drinking bird pose. 3 more breaths. Sweeping it up, hands to heart. As we set up for tree pose. So again, toes can be on the earth with a heel to the lower leg or foot onto shin or taking it to your thigh, firming up, pressing leg into foot and vice versa. Elbow tips down, grow tall. 3 more breaths. Stepping it back into Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Find your stance. Again, you can let the top hip drop forward to find a better position with that knee. Have a play. And your shoulders stacked over the hips. 3 more breaths. Flip the palms, reverse the warrior. Peel yourself open, soften the back body. Take an elbow to thigh, sweep it in front, find that long line of energy Again, soften and draw the shoulders down. Slowly coming up, taking your half step as we prepare again for Ardha Chandrasana. Choosing whatever props. Again, I'll show you an option with a block. Let the top hip find its happy place. Top hand to heart. 5 breaths. Gazing wherever's comfortable for you. Slow step back as we find our 5-pointed star again. Find your 4 corners reach. Taking the toes and knees outwards. Exhaling, draw the elbows in. Ready to do our beautiful sunflower again. Inhale. Exhale, let it go round the lower back. Inhale, big circle back up. 4 more. Exhale through the mouth to let out some heat if you wish. 3 more. For 2. For 1. And then taking the hands to the heart. Sorry, you've got the back view, but we'll stay here before I confuse myself. And then coming into your Skadasana or side lunge. Starting up high, hands to heart. Easing into it. Although we're pretty warmed up by now. And then fingers finding earth as we perhaps explore a bit of a wider, deeper stance. But you can stay up tall as long as you're feeling the stretch. And then staying on the back leg, you might just stay up here with both heels grounded, or you might lift that top toe. Depending on your mobility, you might sink through the ankle and the heel into the earth or on the ball of the foot. So use hands if you need to, or hands to heart. And then draw proud through the chest, beam through the crown to the sky. 3 more breaths. Beautiful. Use your hands lightly to walk it back up and around. Find your friends, your blocks. Take the right foot into a step over to the right side of the mat. If you walk the blocks forward, you might find more length through the spine. Draw the left hip back. Find the height of support you wish. Beam through the heart and the head as you inhale and send them forward. Exhale, hinge. 5 breaths. Feeling the stretch in those hamstrings. Move the blocks out the way, soften the knee, frame the foot. Getting the other foot in position, step it back, your choice with your vinyasa as we wash ourselves out. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, urdhva mukha. Exhale, Ardha Mukha. And then come down into child's pose. Rest the head on the hands. Sink back and have a moment here just to absorb the practice. Shining through the back of that heart space as we breathe deeply. Beautiful, ripple it up. Coming onto our front body. And we'll take our blanket lengthways, just for a bit of softness to sink into. Coming all the way down. I'll move the block so you can see. Our head to the left, resting our cheek on our right hand, and reach round for our left foot. Open up through the front body. If you can't hold the foot, get as close as you can. Sinking through the hips and sending the knee of that left leg energetically to the bottom of the mat, finding that stretch. 3 more breaths. And then being kind with ourselves as we let go slowly And turn the head the other way for a gentle neck stretch. And draw a right heel towards the bottom, pressing the hips into the earth, knee directing down the way to the bottom of the mat, and broaden through the front body. 2 more breaths here. Again, being gentle with ourselves as we release the foot. And then coming up into Sphinx pose, taking our elbows under our shoulders. Wriggle through the hips, and you can explore taking your legs wider if that feels nice. Press the heart forward. If it's too much on the lower back, you can slide the hands forward. Push into the front of the feet so much so that the knees want to lift off and gazing past the front edge of your mat. Really opening up through the front body. We'll do 5 more breaths here. And slowly coming down. I'll give you 2 options. We're going to come into bow pose, but you can choose to just hold Sphinx pose again. And that's beautiful. It's going to work beautifully into stretching the back body. Or you can take both feet in towards your bottom, and you could choose this option where you're just stretching out the front of the thighs. So those are 2 options already. Or if you want to do the full expression of bow pose, take the feet about hips width apart, holding the ankles, and use the legs to draw you up. So as we inhale, use the feet to propel you up. You can hook the feet as you dorsiflex the feet to protect the knees a little bit more, broaden through the front body. Squeeze into the glutes, maybe just a touch if that feels like it helps the back, but softening the hips into the mat. Going for 5 more breaths here, or as many as you're comfortable with. And slowly lower. We'll come into 1 more back bend before we sink it back for a lovely child's pose. Just from here, let's come into all fours to have a little mini release. And just arc it up, pressing up through the back of our heart space, release our neck. And then taking our bolster or very plump cushion, whatever we're using, take yourself forward so your hips are on it, so there's a bit of elevation there, turning the hands outwards, and then standing proud in our cobra. You can walk the hands forward if that feels nicer on the back, or come up higher. It's fine if you lock out your elbows a bit here because there's not much weight going through them with the bolster support. We're going to have 10 breaths here. Connecting with that heart chakra. In the Gita, which is a very revered Hindu scripture, it talks about the fact that people trying to fill this sense of incompleteness, where people haven't found that divine presence, that innermost Russian doll within their inner light, and they're trying to fill this void by attaching themselves to things more to do with their physical body or material things. And of course, they're trying to fill a void that's infinite and it's bottomless. And the only way of filling that and feeling complete is by finding that infinite divine light within. So it just really encourages us to look within for our own source of light and joy, rather than outwardly try and look elsewhere and experience more suffering. Slowly coming down. Ease yourself back. Have a moment to reposition things. Taking a blanket over the block. Sinking yourself back over your heels into an extended child's pose as we take the arms forward. Have a moment, because if you want, you can slide the bolster and the block forward sometimes if you feel that gives you more length in the body. And just settle in here, melting through the heart space.
Again, just thinking about that divine light within. That's within all of us. And the journey to finding that bliss body that is naturally joyous and kind. Breathe into that heart space as you let that love radiate throughout the body. 5 more breaths. Slowly release the arms.
Moving the blanket and the block out the way. Coming onto our back. Coming into a reverse tabletop. So fingertips pointing towards the bottom or perhaps slightly turned out, proud through the chest as we open up our heart. Fan the toes as we feel into the earth. And coming up as you inhale, press. So you want your feet to be under the knees. Careful not to throw the head back. Keep it just under control. Squeezing into the back body. 3 more breaths. Slowly lower down, coming into Navasana, boat pose, to really fire up our core and find our inner strength. We cup the thighs, broad through the front body, shins parallel to earth, finding the angle that works for you for your back. And you can stay here, and that's perfect, finding a drishti, a focal point. Or you can play with taking the arms off and even the legs up. Any version is absolutely fine. Let the heart shine. 5 breaths, or however many you do. Beautiful, come back in. Taking the legs long now for a supine plank. If this doesn't sit well with you, just come back to that tabletop version we just did. We'll stretch out through our hips. So you're going to press again, using the back body into the earth as we take ourselves up. Again, not throwing our head back, just comfortably opening up through the front body, through the throat. 5 breaths. Squeeze into the glutes, drive the heels into the earth. Slowly lower, beautiful. Taking a bolster under our knees and maybe a cushion under our sit bones, and settle in with the seat. Sweep it up, inhale, exhale, really allow the back body to round as you drape yourself forward. We'll be here for 1 minute, just letting go. Feeling a bit of a stretch in the back of the legs, the lower back. But soften the shoulders, soften the neck. Let the weight fall off you. Whatever you've been carrying. Five more breaths here. Slowly work your way back up. Just do a little gentle seated cat-cow to free up through the body, working the bolster further away. And then coming into a supported fish pose. So depending what supports you've got, you can either use the cushion, I'll show you a couple of ways, either use the cushion, just so you're getting a bit of elevation through the front body, through the heart space. Or if you want to take it to a level with more sensation, you can use your 2 blocks, if you have your blocks, positioning one vertically at the highest level, and then one we'll put at the lowest level. And sometimes it helps to sit on a seat, a cushion, to give yourself a bit of height. And just opening ourselves out, making sure the blocks lined up with the spine and adjusting the supports, and then taking the arms out wide. If you find this too intense, I showed you the version with the cushion, but you can also do a version just with a single block on the flattest edge, hopefully you can see, and moving that one out of the way and open it up there, adjusting where you need to with a block to feel you are opening broadly and expansively through that front body. So take a moment to choose which one you're doing. And we'll be here for a further minute. I'll just check where we're at. And once we strip everything back and we sit in moments where we're truly present and blissful, is where we get the glimmers of that inner light. That joyful place. Let the feet fall outwards. Feel free to take the feet wider if that feels more expansive in the front body. And then just let yourself shine. Five more breaths. And using your arms, however it's easiest, to come back up. Maneuver the blocks out the way. Any cushion from under you. And then just draw the knees in. As you draw them in, let the lower back broaden, let it release. Taking the soles of the feet to the sky, just pumping the fluids, the blood around the other way for change as we do a few circles with our ankle. And then the other way. Beautiful. And then taking our right knee in, our left leg long. Have a moment where we squeeze into this hip crease again, broaden the back body as we scissor the legs open on the exhale. 5 breaths here. And then shimmying our hips over to the right of the mat a little bit. Taking our left hand around the back of the right knee. Stretching out the right arm and then taking our knee across the body as we look the opposite way. Feel free to have a block or cushion under the knee if you would like. And the arms outstretched.
or the top hand on top of that thigh if that feels nice. We're going for 2 minutes here, so really melt in the middle, sinking yourself into the supports beneath you. One more minute. See if you can just wriggle yourself a little bit more spaciously into the pose. Scanning the body for any holding and just loosening your grip wherever that may be. Five more breaths. Slowly looking back up to center. Draw the knees in gently to center as you realign the spine. Hug the knees in. Notice any feelings, sensations arising in the body as we become more in tune with our inner self. And then take the right leg long, draw the left knee into that hip crease, broaden the back body. And it's like you're scissoring your legs open as you exhale. I should get my cushion ready the other side. 5 more breaths here. Squeezing and sinking. And then taking the right hand round the back of the left knee. Shimmy the hips to the left to give yourself more space. Stretch out the left arm. Take the knee to the right, finding that cushion if you used it last time, and looking to the left. Either stretching out both arms or having the other one draped on top of the thigh. And settle into the stillness as we stay here for 2 minutes. Closing the eyes if you wish. And if you find your mind wanders, maybe trying the orbiting breath technique we did at the beginning as we inhale from our heart center up through our crown in our front body and exhale from our crown down to our heart center through our back body. It can provide a nice calming focus. Having 5 more breaths here. And slowly when you're ready, return to center, check your spine's aligned. Hug the knees in for a final time, maybe rocking if that feels nice on the back. And then taking the time to set yourself up with any props you wish, or you might want to just spread yourself into a nice wide shavasana. Feel free to have an eye pillow, to put a blanket on top. Whatever you would like, if you want to put socks on. We're going to be here for 3 minutes. And it might be that you find you can shuffle the shoulders down from the ears as you relax a bit. Or maybe snake the tailbone a little bit more towards your heels, feels good in the lower back. Just imagine you're looking up at a sky full of bright shining stars. Imagine yourself like one of these bright shining stars, radiating your own beautiful light. Just enjoy this inner radiance as we remain here. Slowly begin to re-inhabit your physical body. Become aware of the points of connection between your body and the earth beneath you. but keeping this blissful feeling within. Just gently bring in some movement to wherever feels nice and natural in the body. And then just gently, when you're ready, rolling onto your side. Pause for a moment. And then rising up to your seat. Taking whatever position or sitting on whatever prop you wish for in a nice, comfortable seated position. Free up the neck if that feels nice. Give the shoulders a little roll. And take a big sweep as we inhale. Exhale to heart center. And before we finish, we're going to take a beautiful mudra called Padma or Lotus Mudra, keeping the fingertips and the thumbs connected. Open up as you splay out the fingers like a beautiful lotus flower. And this is symbolic of us opening up our spiritual heart to let joy, love, compassion in, but also a reminder that the lotus flower comes out of murky waters and blossoms into something beautiful. And much like we need to rise above our attachments, our fears, our desires, to rise up to find our true enlightened self. So we'll just have a moment here. We pause for about 10 breaths, just using the focus of this mudra. Bring the fingers back to touching. Gently tilt our chin as we bow in gratitude. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your practice. And Namaste seems a beautiful way to finish because it essentially means the light in me is honoring the light in you. And we've certainly been shining our beautiful light. Have a beautiful rest of the day.